We say shit you too scared to say. I'm a real bitch now, deal with it. I'm a real bitch now, deal with it. We say shit you too scared to say. I'm a real bitch now, deal with it. I'm a real bitch now, deal with it. Stop that power, what? Quit that power, boy. Stop that power, what? Quit that power, boy. Stop that power, what? Quit that power, boy. Raw lyrics is a constitutional constituent when it comes to the First Amendment to say what the fuck I wanna say and how I wanna say it with no chaser. You on bitch control, chasing that paper.
You're tuned into Raw Real Talk, where we keep it 100 with you at all times. And welcome back, my people. Welcome back. And on this segment, we are talking about a vicious attack that happened in Miami. A naked man chewed off most of a homeless victim's face. Chewed it off. And a surveillance camera got the whole 18-minute attack. The man is laying in the street just chewing and gnawing on this man's face. I asked myself, people, what is going on in the mind of people today that you're chewing off somebody's face? This is vicious. This is cruel. This is the work of the devil. This is some zombie type shit. This is some shit that you see in the movies. And you ask yourself, do this kind of thing happen in real life? There are some very gruesome photos circulating the web. Very gruesome. This man's face, his eyes, his nose, his mouth was ripped off, ripped away. And I just asked myself, what was in the mind of the man that is committing such a heinous, disgusting, despicable act? I asked myself, and my heart goes out to the family of this man. He is just as important as any other man or woman. Just because he's homeless, his life does matter. And the victim remains in critical condition after that. You imagine, how did he even survive such an attack? And it was said that his face was eaten down to his goatee. The forehead was just bone. No nose, no mouth. Just thinking about it. Just put myself in that position. Can you even famish yourself being in such a position? He was like a zombie. It was said that this man was on drugs. Something that altered his mind, a drug-induced psychosis type thing. He was on bath salts. Now I want you to take a look at this video footage that I'm about to show you.
Now at 6, it's one of the most bizarre stories in South Florida history. A naked man running on the MacArthur Causeway literally eats the face of another man. And the cannibalistic attack is caught on a surveillance camera. Now, there are still lots of questions surrounding this attack. It left a man without a nose or eyes. CBS 4's Tiffany Hellberg is live at the scene of the crime. And Tiffany, this is so hard for us to believe. Any word, first of all, on how the victim is doing?
Elliot, I'm told he is in extremely critical condition, missing his face from his forehead to his chin. This after he was attacked here just off the MacArthur Causeway exit right next to the Miami Herald building. And now we are learning much more about what might have been behind this crazy case. It's the story the world is talking about. Two naked men found off the MacArthur Causeway Saturday afternoon, one literally chewing the face off of the other. The aftermath caught on camera by Miami Herald surveillance cameras, and the president of the police union blaming drugs for the cannibalistic attack.
We have seen already 3 or 4 cases that are exactly like this, where some people have admitted to taking LSD.
Like this case, he says the people have all taken their clothing off, been extremely violent with what seemed to be superhuman strength, even using their jaws as weapons.
Extremely strong. I took care of a 150-pound individual who you would have thought he was 250 pounds. It took 6 security officers to restrain the individual. It's something ER Dr. Paul Adams knows a lot about. We noticed an increase probably after Ultrafest. He says the new LSD is commonly called bath salts, and it can raise a person's body temperature to such a high degree that logic and the ability to feel pain are lost. Delirium sets in, and that often leads to disaster. We've had several deaths. Earlier last year, we probably saw our first deaths from bath salts. where people running on the MacArthur Causeway, under MacArthur Causeway, being chased by the police, and then all of a sudden just collapsing.
In what might be the most recent case, the man ignored the officer's orders to stop eating the other man's face and even continued to gnaw away after being shot.
The initial shots had no effect. He had to repeatedly shoot him about 4 times until the man collapsed.
Dr. Adams says it's a major danger to police, medics, and hospital workers.
Because they come in, they have to be restrained, both chemically and physically, and you're asking for someone to get hurt.
FOP President Armando Aguilar is warning drug dealers as well to beware.
If you are selling this LSD to people, unsuspecting people on the street, and somebody ends up dying as a result, you will be charged with murder.
You can learn more about bath salts and what it do to the mind and to the brain. Don't try that shit. The old slogan, say no to drugs. We got to up that ante. Because when you start doing any drug that make you feel like you want to eat another motherfucker's face off, there's a problem. And you ask yourself, why is this drug still out there on the streets? Why? I want you to think about that. And we got to ask ourselves, why do we take the chance and say, I'm going to try this, or I'm going to try that? What is in you that you're so down and fucked up in your mind that you need something else to alter your mind? Who want to feel like that on purpose? It's crazy. And when the police officer arrived on the scene, he shot once, and the cannibal kept gnawing on the victim's face. And the police officer had to shoot multiple times before this thing, because it ain't no human being anymore, but this thing stopped gnawing on the victim's face. And that's some powerful shit, that you have to get shot multiple times. It's like he was superhuman or something crazy. It was a beast inside of that man. And you got people that's doing drugs, and I'm doing it for recreational purposes. It's fun. I'm not going to get hooked. This can't happen to me. And as soon as you take it, then you hooked. The first goddamn time you used it. Where's your strength at now? All these people on crystal meth and crack and cocaine thinking it's okay, thinking it's fun. There's nothing fun about getting your face gnawed off. This is craziness. This is psychotic. And then when I think about this kind of activity, it makes you think about war and chaos and destruction. And why are we purposely going out hurting ourselves and killing people and warring? What's the purpose? Is that all we feel we're good for as people, is abuse? It's just crazy. And then you ask yourself, as a sane or supposedly sane individual, where do you fit in all this? Could you even possibly imagine yourself being a victim or doing that to someone, victimizing somebody? I mean, all this rape, murder, all this chaos. At some point, we have to settle ourselves out and say, and ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth me smoking something or sniffing something to get some high only to get shot to death or hooked and become a zombie on an everyday basis? Because that's what drugs do to you. And when you rape, you kill, you beat, you maim, you shoot, you under the influence of the devil. Because that's some devil type shit. That ain't godly. That ain't humane. That ain't compassionate. What kind of person are you? Yes, you have people with problems. And everybody don't turn to drugs to solve those problems. Talk that shit out. Do whatever you can, but do not turn to the beast. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth your life, your loved ones, and the diminishing of Mother Nature, of the earth. Because that's what we're doing. We're destroying Mother Nature. We're throwing shit off balance. And we have to understand there is a global shift going on. And we have to understand what this global shift is and what it means. The earth, the planet Earth, the world in general, globally needs balance. We have to start nurturing the earth, because the earth was meant to nurture us, but by us doing so many vicious, cruel things to diminish what God has given us, we have to do something to give back and replenish it. And just what this man did is the video I did last about stop eating meat. Stop eating those animals. Those animals suffer so badly. And we asked ourselves, well, this is a human being. Is a human being more important than an animal? So when this man is getting his face gnawed off, I want you to keep that in your mind every time you eat a piece of meat. Some people might think that's cruel and you can't put it on the same level, but you can, because these animals are getting bludgeoned to death, carved out, for you can have a steak on your plate, and you're cleaning it up. And some people ain't going to want to hear that, because if you eat meat, you don't want to hear that shit. You ain't going to want to hear me saying that. I understand that. But I want you to think about it. Seriously think about it. It's not humane. It's not. It's not compassionate, because eating a human being and eating an animal both has its weight. Let's put it that way. They both has its weight. And it hurts me to know that some people are taking certain things more serious in the severity than others. We all got our areas, but I just want you to think about it. So I hope the lesson we learned today, don't do drugs. Don't do anything that is going to alter your mind state that bad that you turn yourself into a beast, a monster, and attack another individual, one of God's creatures, his species, like that. That's crazy. I want you to leave me your questions and your comments and your concerns. It's okay. You can vent. You can tell me you disagree or you agree. I still love you. It's okay. We can, agree to disagree and vice versa. It's not a problem. And I want you to please visit our website at rawrealtalk.com, where you can get our books, our literature, and you can learn more about the world that you live in. Because sometimes we need another perspective. And that's what Raw Real Talk gives you, another perspective. Because sometimes you got to hear things in a raw way to understand the severity of it. And sometimes you got to hear things in a soft way to understand the sensitivity of it. So I can give you a little bit of both. But in this situation, you deserved to hear some raw, real talk. And anybody that I offended due to the profanity, I'm sensitive toward you. But do your best to hear past the profanity and listen to the message. And if you can't, put it down and come back later. And if you don't want to, that's okay too. But in the result, truth is truth. God bless.